要吃的话，起码喝一杯茶。你好 ，Welcome back， 欢迎回来。If you are following along with me on my journey to learn 中文 I'm really glad to have you. 我很高兴有你。I finally figured out how to add timestamp links into the video description. It is really useful. Now you can jump to any character in this episode. Click on the link for that character and you will jump straight into that segment of that video. How good is that? 多么好啊 Let's get going with the next bunch of characters. But before that, click on the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it. These are the characters in this episode. 对了明面变化马 First character we have here is 对 对 is an amazing word. It has multiple meanings. You can use it to say something is correct. It can also mean a pair. Treat as in the way you treat somebody or you treat a thing. Face as in face up to, or match, like a matching pair. 对 the character is a word on its own you can use. And here are some examples. 对今天是星期日我们不上班 Here's an example of me using 对 in the simplest form, which is just to say, yeah, that's right. Today is Sunday. We don't need to go to work. Here's a second example of 对李医生和李太太 my favorite doctors in the world 是一对很可爱的夫妇 In this case, I'm using 对 to mean a pair 一对李医生和李太太是一对很可爱的夫妇 Yeah, Dr. Lee and Mrs. Lee are an adorable couple. So here 一对 is referring to the couple. Here's a third example. 李医生夫妇对我很好李医生夫妇对我很好 So 李医生夫妇 refers to 李医生 and his wife 对我 In this case, I'm using 对 as in treat. They treat me very well. So 3 ways to use 对 to mean correct. 一对 a pair and 对我 treats me. Now let's have a look at words using the character 对 First one is 对面 which means opposite. 对面是 location, the opposite. Opposite of my house is park. As opposed to the English antonym, big and smaller opposites, it's not that opposite. Second example 是对手 Here we have 对 combining with 和手 It means opponent. It's my competitor or my nemesis. So for example, if you play tennis, Roger Federer and Nadal are opponents in tennis. Something like that. Third example using 对是对不起 This is pretty common and it's the simplest way to say I'm sorry. 对不起 Alright, so let's make up some sentences to practice using the words. Let's start with opposite. As I said, 对面 is a location opposite. There is a wet market located opposite my school. So in 中文, the sentence will be a little bit reversed. We will start with 我的学校对面 Okay, so opposite of my school, what's there? 有一家 a measure word to describe a building. 一家 wet market 是菜市这个菜市我的学校对面有一家菜市 Okay, let's try and make up a sentence using opponent. How do I say that in 中文 My opponent 是我的对手 Okay, let's start with that 我的对手 But this opponent was back in high school So 是我的高中 2 episodes ago we learned 高中对手 High school opponent is now my good friend So I'm just gonna say 现在是我的好朋友好 beginning on, let's read that back. 我的高中对手现在是我的好朋友 Okay, next, 对不起 Sometimes my mom says this to me when I get home late. Sorry dear, I didn't save any food for you. Oh, 没问题妈妈 Sorry 是对不起我没有 Okay, let's just go with that first. In the previous episode, we learned how to say save food or keep food, which is 留饭 Okay, 留饭给你。对不起，我没有留饭给你。Next, we have le. A word of warning, if you don't have your coffee next to you or a snack or whatever, press pause and go and get it now and come back because le is going to blow your brains. It is such a simple looking character, but when I was studying this character, I was blown away. There are just so many different ways to use it to say so many different things. Firstly, le has two pronunciations. There is le to indicate that something has already happened. So in English, we have tenses, right? Present tense and past tense. And if something has already happened, you just use the past tense word. I'm eating or I ate. In 中文, there are no tenses. So a way to indicate something has already happened in the past or to say it's already done is to use le. The second pronunciation of this little squiggle is liao. So same squiggle, but pronounced liao and has a different meaning. It's to indicate that you understand something clearly or to indicate something in its entirety. Yeah, this is a long one. Please go grab a coffee if you need one. I'm going to start with le and then we'll come back and look at liao. I found 6 different ways that you can use le. The first one, you just put le after a verb to indicate it's already happened. So let me show you an example. 谢谢，我吃了晚饭. Let's pop the pinyin on first. 谢谢. That's pretty easy. It's thanks or thank you. 我吃了. 我 is me. 吃 is eat. And 晚饭 is dinner. So by putting the le after the 吃, I'm saying I've already had my dinner. Thanks, I've already had my dinner. If someone was to ask me, hey, would you like something to eat? 谢谢，我吃了晚饭. The second use of le is after one verb, le, followed by an object, do, another verb. So it's after I've done something, then I will do something else. Here's an example. 我做了运动，就去吃晚餐。Pop pinyin. 我做了运动. So 运动是 exercise. Okay, so after doing my exercise, 就去吃. Then I'll go have dinner. The third example, something, 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 le something. This is a way to indicate that something has happened or the state of something has changed. Here's an example. 王老师当了妈妈. I picked this example because I want to practice to use 当. I'm not very comfortable with it yet. So there's Wang Lao Shi, teacher Wang, and she has become a mother. So the status of teacher Wang has literally changed. She used to live in a baby and now she's become a mother. Wang Lao Shi 当了妈妈. Okay, 3 down, 3 to go. If your brains haven't exploded yet, that's great. Let's look at the next 3 uses. Fourth way to use le, we've actually seen this before when we were studying Thai. Thai plus an adjective with a le is a way to make the adjective an extreme version of itself. How is good, but if you want to go from good to awesome, then you say Thai 好了. That's it. Similarly, I think way back in episode 17 when we were learning Thai, Thai 热了. It's too hot. Or how about something more fun like 翅膀红烧牛肉太好吃了. Yeah, Mrs. Lee will be so pleased. The fifth way to use le is something, 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 do, something, something, le. In this case, it's not to say that something has already happened, but more to say, hey, it's already 3rd quarter of the year and you still haven't met your sales target, something like that, okay? So let's make an example. So you've been sick for days and hey, it's already Friday and you still haven't gone to see a doctor. 今天是星期五. Today is Friday. But I want to say, yo man, today is already Friday. 今天都是星期五了. And you still haven't gone to see the doctor. 你还没去看医生. Why not? You're sick, you go and see a doctor. 这是常识. Okay, last but not least, 要 something something le. This is to indicate something is gonna happen soon, like I'm sick, I'm gonna vomit soon, or I'm gonna graduate soon. So a simple example could be 我要生病了。生病 is sick. I think I'm going to be sick. So that's how to use 了 the 6 magical ways. Isn't it incredible? But we're still not done because now we're going to look at the same character in the form of 了 which means to understand clearly or tightly. The good news is the list is not as long. I've got 3 examples of how to use 了. The first one is 了不起. 了不起 is a way to express that something is amazing, like yum, that 红烧牛肉了不起。张三的红烧牛肉 is really amazing. Yeah, he makes a killer bowl of braised beef. Too bad he's in Beijing. 张三的红烧牛肉了不起。张三's braised beef is amazing. The second example of 了解。了解 is to know well, to understand something or someone well. So let's make a sentence example. If you've been following the story of 李医生 and 李太太, you may agree with this. 我很了解李太太。太阳太热，它不出来。Let's make it more specific. 今天太阳太热了。了解 over here and 太热了。So now you can see the combination of 了 and 了 in a single sentence. 我很了解李太太。I understand Mrs. Lee well. 今天太阳太热了。Today's sun is way too hot. 她不出来。She's not gonna come out. 这个她 is the wrong one. 是 female 她 I'm referring to 李太太. So take note, Mrs. Lee is pretty sensitive to the sun. Okay, the third word combo for 了 is an expression where we combine the verb with 不了 to indicate something can be completed. 我喝不了3杯茶。我喝不了3杯茶。不了 indicates something can't be completed. In this case, the verb is 喝, which is to drink. So I can't drink 3 cups of tea. That's just way too much tea. 我喝不了3杯茶。Whew, and that's it. That's 了 and 了。Next, we have míng. Míng 是 name or famous. Words using míng 是名字。有名 Yo is hat. Ming is famous, so something have fame is well known. I'm gonna add another word here, 名人. I want to make a little distinction between the two. 有名 is well known, which you can use to describe anything that is well known, whereas 名人 is a famous person. So it's a little bit different. One is a celebrity, whereas 有名是 you're describing something that is popular, okay, which may or may not be a person. Another example with 名是名菜. I think food is an important part of anyone's culture, so therefore I must learn how to describe famous dishes. 名菜. So let's construct some sentences to practice these new words. Here's a simple one. I wanted to demonstrate how to use name and full name. We learned full name way back in, I think, episode 17. Let's translate this to 中文. 她是李医生的 daughter 是女儿，她的名字是林。Okay? 她的 what? Full name. Now full name 是姓名是李林。Okay, let's read that back. And whoops, this 她 is incorrect. Should be female 她。There we go. 她是李医生的女儿，她的名字是林，她的姓名是李林。Now you know 2 different ways to talk about someone's name. 名字，你的名字是什么什么 or full name, 你的姓名是什么什么。Okay, let's move on to 有名 and 名人。I just shrank the font a little bit so that we can see more on the same screen. I have pasted 3 sentences here to show how we can use 有名, 名人 and 名菜. The first one is braised local fish is a very famous dish in my capital city. I'm going to not use 名菜. I'm going to show you how to use 有名 instead. Braised 是红烧，但是不是牛肉，是鱼，红烧鱼。 but not just any 鱼, 是 local 鱼, 是当地鱼. And I want to say it's very famous in my capital city. Maybe the English, it's not very good. Maybe I should say very well-known dish. 红烧当地鱼在我首都. So in my city, the 很有名. Actually, it's not just 很有名. It's extremely well-known. So let's upgrade this to 非常. There we go. That's much more exaggerated sentence. 红烧当地鱼在我首都非常有名. Let's look at the next one where we're describing a person. Yes, how do we say yes in 中文? We just learned it. 对. Yes, that man, 那位男人 is a famous person in 海口. 在海口. So in 海口是什么？是一位名人。Have you figured out where is 海口? And if you have, please put it in the comments. Next one is my favorite, which is 名菜. In Mrs. Lee's home, the most famous dish that they have at home is, of course, the braised beef. The way to translate this into 中文, I'm taking some time to process because I know I can't translate it directly as it is. I gotta mush some things around. But let's just break it down a little bit. Firstly, I know famous dish 是名菜, and the famous dish in question is 红烧牛肉. And where is it famous? In 李太太's house. 李太太家. So I've got the 名菜, I've got the 红烧牛肉. I probably need to put this in the front. 在李太太家的名菜. So the famous dish in Mrs. Lee's home is 是红烧牛肉. In fact, I want to say 太太是红烧肉高手. She's an expert at making braised beef. Let's pop the pinyin on and read that back again. 在李太太家的名菜是红烧牛肉. 李太太是红烧牛肉高手. Okay, next we have miàn. Miàn means face or a side. Also noodles, flour, dough. And there is no easy way to remember this character, but for me, miàn kind of looks like a fancy pasta making machine. I'm not sure if that will work for you. Words using miàn are 面对. If you're scratching your head and thinking, hang on, that looks really familiar, that's because a few minutes ago we just learned 对面. Two same characters but in reverse. 对面 we learned a few minutes ago meant opposite location-wise. 面对, however, means to face up to confront. Then we have 面子. 面子是 face or dignity or honor. And my favorite word is 面条, noodles. Yes, let's create some sentences to see how we can use 面对, 面子 and 面条. Here's a sentence I think it's good to use confront, high school and opponent. 今天早上, 今天 is today, 早上 is morning, so this morning. So let's just start breaking it down a bit. My high school opponent 是我的高中 and opponent 是对手. So I've got the high school opponent. And what did I do with my high school opponent? I confronted him. 我面对我的高中对手. And now we're good friends. 那是现在我们是好朋友. Maybe you'll add a the at the end. 拼音. Okay, let's read that back. 今天早上我面对我的高中对手. 现在我们是好朋友了. Yay. Alright, here's a sentence to try and use 面子. It was a bit challenging to come up with a sentence to describe face and dignity and in a way that I was able to translate. This is as best I could come up with. My manager 是我的经理. Wish me 是祝我. Happy birthday 是生日快乐. Such an honor for me. 我真有面子. Let's pop the pinyin on and read that back. Part of the reason why I struggled with coming up with an example to use 面子 is it can't be translated directly. In 中文, the way to express it is 我真有面子. But if you translated that directly to English, it just says I really have face, and you can't say that in English. It sounds weird. The closest way to express it is, oh, it was such an honor for me. Next, let's have a look at 面条, my favorite word, and it couldn't get any simpler than this. I love eating noodles, and I'm not such a rice person. 我喜欢吃什么面条? I don't like plain rice. 我不喜欢吃米饭. Pop the pinyin. 我喜欢吃面条，我不喜欢吃米饭。How about you? 你呢？你喜欢吃面条 or 你喜欢吃米饭? Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments if you're a rice person or a noodle person. Next up, we have 电. 电 is pretty simple. It means electricity or electric. You can use 电 on its own to mean electricity. And the way I remember the character 电 is it kind of looks like a power socket with a wire down below. Depending on which country you're in and how your plug sockets look like, it may not work for you. But for me, it works because the one that we use here is this humongous 3-pin plug socket. Yeah, that's how I remember the character 电. Words using 电 are both my favorite ones. First one is 电影 and another one 是电视. They're both my favorites because 电影 is movies and 电视 is TV. Okay, let's make a sentence using electricity. Keep it nice and simple. There you go. This morning 是今天早上我的学校没有电. Very simple example. 今天早上我的学校没有电. Next, let's make a sentence using my first favorite word, 电影. Do you like to watch movies? Let's watch a movie together tonight. Two seemingly very simple sentences, but I purposely put it this way to show you the difference between the first and the second one. Do you like to watch movies is an outright question. The second sentence is a suggestion. Let's watch a movie together tonight. So let's translate the first one. 你喜欢看什么？看电影. And because it's a question, I will put a 吗？你喜欢看电影吗? Then the second part is 今晚 tonight. 我们一起 together. Together, what are we gonna do? 看电影. 今晚我们一起看电影. This reads like a statement right now, but I'm going to soften it and make it into a suggestion by adding 吧 at the end. 今晚我们一起看电影吧. Hopefully with these two separate sentences, one is a question, one is a suggestion, to show you how you can use 吗 and 吧. 你喜欢看电影吗？今晚我们一起看电影吧. I just realized it sounds like I'm asking someone to go on a date with me. Hopefully that will be useful for you. Okay, my next favorite word is 电视. The first bit, I like watching TV, not movies. 我喜欢看电视. Pretty straightforward. 不喜欢电影. Often I say that we need less words in Chinese to express something. In this case, it's the opposite. Maybe it's something I haven't figured out, but not movies becomes 不喜欢电影. It's a lot longer. Yeah, it's interesting how it's the reverse this time. Nowadays is 先进我看. I do not know the 中文 for Netflix. Now, I can't put 美晚 after Netflix in 中文. I need to stick it before. 我每晚看. Pop the pinyin. Okay, let's read that back. 我喜欢看电视，不喜欢电影。现今我每晚看 Netflix. Oh, and that is so true. I spent last week watching Squid Game. And have you seen Squid Game? If you haven't, you should totally watch it. Next, we have 话. 话是 speech or dialect and language. Here are some simple examples of where you would hear or use the word 话. 中国话、普通话、马来话 and 海南话拼音中国 we know is China. 中国话 is the language in China, so it's the Chinese language. 普通话 specifically refers to the Mandarin language. And then 马来话 is Malay, and 海南话 is the dialect spoken in Hainanese. So yeah, that's how 话 is used to describe a language. One interesting way I learned to use 话 is this: something 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 的话 something something. It's not a word, it means if. Let's make an example to illustrate how to use 的话. Go to Mrs. Lee's house if you really miss eating braised beef. In English, I could say either way. I could say if you really miss eating braised beef, you should go to Mrs. Lee's house. But here I've constructed the sentence so that it's a little bit easier and closer to the 中文 version of it. Okay? In 中文, we would say it like this. 你很想 what do you miss? 吃红烧牛肉 You 你很想 really miss 吃红烧牛肉的话 This is where you put the 话 something 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 的话 then something something 你很想吃红烧牛肉的话 what should you do? 去李太太的家你很想吃红烧牛肉的话去李太太的家 Okay, so that's two uses of 话 Now let's look at words using 话 First one combines 电 which we just covered a few minutes ago with 话电话 the telephone Quite literally electrical speech, isn't it? 电话 Then we have 说话说 is speak So 说话 is to speak And then the combination of 对 and 话对话 is a dialogue. Okay, let's have a look at how to use it in a sentence. I've made up two simple sentences. Let's do the first one. My school, 我的什么我的学校我的学校 doesn't have 没有 What does it not have? 电 And, no, there's no and, like I would say, 也没有 And also doesn't have the telephone, 电话 Yeah, let's pop the pinyin on 我的学校没有电也没有电话 Okay, and then the next one, I like to listen to I like 是我喜欢 Listen is 听李医生夫妇的什么 Their conversation between the two of them 的对话他们的声音很好听 Pop the pinyin on. Let's read that back. 我喜欢听李医生夫妇的对话，他们的声音很好听。Okay, we've come to the last and seventh character for this episode, 马 It should look familiar. It's got the horse component and it sounds like 妈妈的妈 and also the modal particle 你好吗 It looks very similar. You just gotta be careful with the left radical. It's different from 妈妈的妈 and 你好吗 This is 马 which is number. It's also a unit of measurement for a yard. 一马 is 1 yard and apparently it also means symbol although I have not seen any word examples so I'm not quite sure what that means. Words using 马 First one is really straightforward. 号码 Both are related to numbers. So 号码 is number. If I wanted to know what is your phone number, I would say 你的电话号码是多少 Next we have 大码 大 is big, 码 is a number, so a big number. 这个是 big size in terms of clothing, or nowadays we call it the plus size. Third one is 起码 This one I need to get my head around it because it's not related to numbers at all. 起码 it means at least. Okay, let's put them into sentences. The first one, 号码 Pretty simple. Let's say someone asks, Hey, does your business card 你的名片有你的电话号码吗 And I can say, Yeah, my name card has my telephone number. Yes, 是对我的名片 My name card has my telephone number 有我的 What does it have? My telephone number Telephone 是电话 and number 是号码 Let's read that back It's beginning to sound a little bit like a tongue twister 你的明天有你的电话号码吗？对，我的明天有我的电话号码。Next, 大码。Okay, this one's easy. My mom likes plus-size clothing. My mom 是我的妈妈。Let me pop the pinyin on first. Okay, so here you can see how the other 妈 looks like. 我的妈妈 like 是喜欢，她喜欢什么呢？大码衣服。我的妈妈喜欢大码衣服。Last but not the least, we've got 骑马 at least. I had to rack my brain to think of an example. To me, this is a pretty complex sentence because I'm trying to express two things. If you're not hungry, at least drink a cup of tea. So let's try. 你不要吃的话, I haven't learned yet how to say hungry. I'm gonna say, if you don't want to eat, then drink something. 你不要吃的话，起码 at least drink a cup of tea. 喝 drink 是那个喝 a cup, so 一杯 tea 茶。Hanging on, let's read that back. 你不要吃的话，起码喝一杯茶。I think that sounds pretty good. I'm getting the hang of 的话 and 起码。你不要吃的话，起码喝一杯茶。Congratulations if you made it this far. That's 7 new characters and well, more than 21 new words because we learn how to use le. Now the fun part begins. We're going to do story time. 作文. This is part where I try to use as many of the new words in this episode as possible to tell a story. My story will be based on Dr. Lee and Mrs. Lee. If you've been following on the previous episodes, I met them, I've had dinner with them, and in this episode, that story continues. Okay, here we go. 我下班了，就去跟李医生和他的家人一起吃晚餐。Okay, next bit. 李医生的家的对面 opposite. So what's opposite his house? 是一家. Okay, so there is a. I use 一家 as the measure word for a building. Okay, so there's a 餐厅, but it's not just any 餐厅, 是有名. I think I'm missing saying very well known. Let's just make it more dramatic. 有一家很, just in case you're not convinced it's famous. I'm telling you, it's very famous. Their famous dish is a steamed fish. 他们的名菜是 what is it? Steamed fish. 蒸鱼. 蒸鱼是这个蒸 because of all the fiery bits. I know it's steamed. The restaurant manager 是餐厅经理. I think it's this one. 经理 is a famous person. 是一位. We use 一位 for a person. Famous person 是名人. 一位名人 but he's not just any famous person. He is a celebrity in 海口. 是一位海口的. So he's not a world famous person. He's just very famous in 海口. Let's pop the thing on. Okay, next part. He took a photograph with us. 他跟我们 together 是一起. Okay, so he and us together, what did we do? We took a photograph. 一起拍照. What an honor for us. 我们真有面子. He ordered too many dishes for us. 他点的 This is the first time I'm using 了点的 because he ordered too many dishes 是太多了. Okay, so now this is the second example of 了太多了. To exaggerate an adjective, it's just way too much. 菜. Okay, he ordered way too many dishes. In 中文, I would probably just stop here. 他点了太多了菜. But in English, I wrote that he ordered too many dishes for us. So if I really want to be specific, I can add 给我们. So I'm really clear that these too many dishes he ordered was for us. Okay, I couldn't finish my noodles. So I couldn't complete something 是我 something 不了. In this case, is 吃不了什么 my noodles 我的面条. I love noodles so much, but I just can't finish it. And the steamed fish was amazing. 蒸鱼太好吃了. So I could say it this way. 蒸鱼太好吃了. This is something I'm pretty familiar with already. So to make it a bit more challenging, I'm going to change it to use different way to express amazing that we learned in this episode, which is 蒸鱼真的了不起。了不起是 amazing. Oops, fix that. 蒸鱼真的了不起。So I'm gonna get rid of this and use the new way I'm going to say amazing. 了不起。Okay, next bit. He asked me, do you want my telephone number? 他问我你要我的电话号码 And because it's a question, ma this ma 你要我的电话号码吗？他用海南话 So he's using Hainanese 跟太太说话 So okay, the translation is a little bit different. I'm saying he's using Hainanese to have a conversation with Mrs. Lee 他用海南话跟李太太说话 Okay, the last bit about learning Hainanese 你要学习海南话的话去哪里？去李太太的家Okay, pop the painting on. Let's read that back from the beginning and check that it's correct. 我下班了就去跟李医生和他的家人一起吃晚餐。李医生的家对面是一家很有名的餐厅，他们的名菜是蒸鱼。餐厅经理是一位海口的名人，他跟我们一起拍照，我们正有面子。他点了太多了菜给我们，我吃不了我的面条。蒸鱼真的了不起。他问我你要我的电话号码？Tongue twister. Let's read that again. 他问我你要我的电话号码吗？ That's better. 他用海南话跟李太太说话。你要学习海南话的话，去李太太的家。It's quite a tongue twister. I'm going to try it again and read it a little bit faster. So if you can, join me and let's read it together a little bit quicker. 我下班了就去跟李医生和他的家人一起吃晚餐。李医生的家的对面是一家很有名的餐厅，他们的名菜是蒸鱼。餐厅经理是一位海口的名人，他跟我们一起拍照，我们正有面子。他点了太多了菜给我们，我吃不了我的面条。蒸鱼真的了不起。他问我你要我的电话号码吗？他用海南话跟李太太说话。你要学习海南话的话，去李太太的家。I hope you enjoyed that story. That was quite a tongue twister. What do you think about my silly story so far? If you have any suggestions on how the story of 李医生和他的家人 should progress, please let me know in the comments. I hope you have enjoyed learning with me in this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. 下集见. P.S. Remember to hit the like button.